I had looked over the speakers that you've had in the past, and I look at the long catalog of distinguished celebrities you've had address you, and I felt something like the Missouri Mule that was entered in the Kentucky Derby. No one expected him to win, but they all knew he'd benefit from the association. And I'd like to begin, actually, with a couple of quotes that I keep tucked in my desk back in Washington. One reads, "Our earth is degenerate in these latter days. Bribery and corruption are common. Children no longer obey their parents. Every man, woman wants to write a book. And the end of the world is evidently approaching." Have a pretty contemporary ring to it. It was written on an Assyrian tablet some 4,700 years ago. The second one that I keep next to me is as follows. "It's a gloomy moment in the history of our country. Not in the lifetime of most men and women has there been so much grave and deep apprehension. Never has the future seemed so uncertain as it does at this time. The domestic situation is in chaos. Our dollar is weak throughout the world. Prices are so high as to be utterly impossible. The political cauldron seethes and bubbles with uncertainty. Russia hangs as usual like a cloud dark and silent upon the horizon. It's a solemn moment, and of our troubles no man can see the end." Again, you might expect that to see, Mr. Stewart, in the Wall Street Journal, but it actually appeared in Harper's Weekly magazine in 1897. And so I cite these two quotes to call into some perspective the fact that there have always been great difficulties facing mankind. And the ones that we face are of a different kind of challenge to us now, but not ones that we can't overcome. 9/11 for me, and I think for virtually every person in this country, is what I would call a life-transforming experience. Our lives will never be the same again. Things have changed in a way that some are subtle but also very profound. And we are still recovering from it. We're still trying to examine where do we go, and we're trying to examine where do we go wrong, as a matter of fact. I just finished testifying before the 9/11 Commission. An experience that I look forward to and hope that I could contribute to the Commission's role. You are the ones, especially the ones in the front rows here, who are going to have to cope with a world that has become increasingly dangerous, in which the threats are more insidious than they've been in the past, because now we do have something called weapons of mass destruction. And the question is, we've been hit once, will we be hit again? And the answer is, it's almost inevitable. Now, I've always tried to be optimistic and say nothing is inevitable until it happens. But if you look at the probabilities, if you look at the vulnerabilities, and you start having a metric examination of what those probabilities are, you have to say, in all probability, we'll get hit again because we're so open, because we don't have the discipline, the rigidity of an autocratic state, an authoritarian government. We are, quote, a democracy with all of its great strengths but all of its great weaknesses. And so we're trying to prepare ourselves for this inevitability.